Hello students, welcome to Pathak's Computer Academy online classes. In the previous video, we learned about various data types used in Python, and after that we learned about typecasting. Today we will start control statements in Python. As we all know that there are basically two types of statements. First one is conditional statement and another one is looping statement. Today, we will cover conditional statements in Python. So, the contents are the introduction. After that, various conditional statements like if else, elif, nested if else, one line if statement, shorthand if else, and at last, switch case in Python. Okay, so let's start. So we all know that there comes situation in real life when we need to make some decision. And based on these decisions, we decide what to do next. The same thing can happen in programming. Thus, conditional statement, or you can say that decision making in Python perform different computations or actions depending on whether a specific Boolean constraint evaluates to true or false. Okay. In Python, if statement is considered as conditional statements. So let's start. So here you can see that the data flow or control flow comes from upward. Condition is to be checked. If condition is true, then what is to be done are written over here. And if the condition is false, then this statement is not to be executed and move on to the next portion of the program. It means you simply discarded the portion of if. Clear? The same thing I have written over here. If a certain condition is true, then a block of statement is executed, otherwise not. Clear? So the syntax is very simple. You have to put a keyword if. After that, you have to write down the condition, and that condition can be any expression. Okay. So if the condition is true, then the portion of condition, if condition, is to be executed. And again, I'm going to tell you that Python uses indentation to identify a block. There is no such curly braces as in other language like C or C++ to define the block of any thing, either if, else, or anybody. Clear? So this is the example I have written over here. Three values are taken, A, B, C by the user. And based on these values, I am performing which number is the largest. So you all aware about the logic. If A is greater than B and A is greater than C, then which one is greatest? Simply A. You all know that. Again, if B is greater than A and B is greater than C, so B is largest. And at last, the another if condition is that if C is greater than A and C is greater than B, so simply C is the largest. You can write the program in a different way because I have to explain the if condition. That's why I have put it various if. Okay. So moving on further, there is another statement that is if else. Sometimes there is a need if a condition is true, then a specific block of statement is to be executed, and if that condition is false, then another block of statements is to be executed. Okay, in the previous there is no such thing. So here condition is to be checked. If true, then if block is executed, otherwise else block is executed, and move on to the further statements of the program. Clear? So there is a small difference between if and if else. There is another block known as else block. If condition is false, then what is to be done? Clear? So the syntax is again very simple. If followed by condition, and you have to put the colon. This is very much necessary to start the block of anything, either if or else. That's why you can see that just after else, I have included the colon. This means Python interpreter treats the next line and so on is the block of else till the indentation is followed. So here you can see that I have to follow the indentation. Clear? So this one statement is under the condition, under the if block, and this one statement is under the else block. So I have written the program of even and odd. It is very simple to you. If any number is divided by 2 and remainder will get 0, then it's that number is even, otherwise it is odd. So that can be performed with the help of if else condition. Why? Because if there is an even number, then you have to do something else. And if it is an odd number, then you have to do something else. Now, there is a new thing other than the C or C++, elif statement. The same thing in C++ is else if, not elif. So you have to very careful about that. Where it is used? Whenever there are multiple conditions, okay, then elif statements are used. And based on true, that block of statement is executed. Simple. Here, there is 3 expression, that is 3 condition. So, first one is to be used with if. Okay. After that, these two are kept under elif condition. And at last, the body of the else part is to be executed. Here you can see that the syntax. First one is very simple. If followed by the expression or condition. After that, if there is another condition more than 2 or 3, Then you have to put elif, and at last else condition is to be included. So there is an example. I ask from the user, give me a number. If number is 0, then print 0. Again, I have to check. So there are two more conditions. That's why I have to put elif. What these two conditions are? First one is whether number is lesser than 0 or number is greater than 0. Sorry, I have written 10, but it should be greater than 0. So if number is lesser than 0, then it is negative number. And if number is greater than 0, then I have to print it is a positive number. And sometime if the user gives other than the other than the integer value, then execute the else part. So I think it is very clear to you when to use elif. When there are two or more if condition is to be checked. Clear? Now, there is a small difference between elif and nested if. Nested if means if with within if. Okay, there are two conditions. If first condition is true, then next condition is to be checked, and if both conditions are true, then some block of statement is to be executed, otherwise not. This nested if is also can be achieved with the help of logical expression and or not. Okay, so here you can see that test expression, if it is true, then again one condition is to be checked. It means if this condition is true, this condition is true, then this block of statement is to be executed. If this condition is true, but this condition, second condition, inner condition is false, then this block of statement is to be executed. Otherwise, this part of the expression is to be executed. Okay. So here you can very clearly see that the syntax, there is an outer if, and in outer if there is an inner if. Okay. So inner if is ended over here, and after that outer if is ended over here. This is an example. What it is? Here, if number is greater than or equal to 0, again, if number is equal to 0, I am going to specify if 0, then print 0, else this condition is true. It means a given number is definitely greater than 0. It means I have to print what? Positive number. And if the number is neither equal to 0 or nor greater than or equal to, it means number is definitely lesser than 0. So in the else part, I have written over here that it is a negative number. So there is a slight difference between the same program to define whether the given number is 0, positive or negative, but in elif you have do something else, and in nested if you do some different logic. Clear? Now There are something special in Python, that is one line if statement. So in Python, it is permissible to write an entire if statement on one line. How? Simply, if followed by condition, colon, then statement. And if there are more than one statement, simply you have to put what? Semicolon. Then statement 2, semicolon, statement 3, up to end statement. No issue. So here you can see that. The example. I have given the value of a equal to 0. Then if a equal to 0, I'm forcefully supply the true value to the if condition, then print 0. So you can write down like this in a single one line statement. So it will print what? And more than 2 or 3 statement, you can do this. No issue in one liner. If a equal to 0, print hi, again print hello. So it will print like this. So this is a special case. You have to be aware of that. Now, move on further. There is another thing known as shorthand if else. In another language like C or C++, it is also known as ternary operator. Okay, or conditional operator. So what they are in the C or C++? There is something like this. If condition, if condition, if condition is true, then this statement is to be executed, colon, if condition is false, then after the colon, whatever the statement you have written is to be executed. The same thing can be done in Python, but in a different thing or in a different scenario. The syntax is little bit different. First of all, you have to write down the condition. Then you have to put if, okay? And then if condition is true, so condition is to be checked, else expression. So here I have given the example. I equal to 10. Now, if condition is put in the middle, okay? If I is lesser than 15, so what is to be done? In the left side of the statement. And if condition is false, so else part is to be executed. That it means the right side of the statement. So this is the slight difference. Here in C or C++, you have to put if, then condition. Question mark, if condition is true, then just for after the question mark, statement is to be executed. Otherwise, just after the colon, statement is to be executed. But in Python, condition is written in the middle. And if condition is true, just before the if condition, whatever the statement is written are executed. Otherwise, just after the else statement, whatever the statement is executed is written over here. I'm going to show you with the example because it is something tricky. So a equal to 10. Okay, what is to be done? Print hi. Okay, and what is to be done? I have to put condition if a is lesser than 15. Else, what is to be done? print hello. So here condition is to be checked. Age less than 15, yes. So hi will be printed. Let us check. Hi will be printed. And if you want to do something, if you want to print the else part, so what is to be done? I have to put the wrong condition like this, less than 10. So condition is false. So else part is to be executed. So I think it is very clear to you. Now move on further. The last thing, that is switch case in Python. In C, C++ or any other language, there is another conditional statement, that is switch case. But in Python, there is no switch case facility. Why? Because in other languages, they don't have proper mapping constraint. There is nothing other than switch case to do the mapping as a key value pair. But in Python, there is a dictionary data type. I have already discussed in the previous lectures. With the help of this, you can map from one key to the particular value. Okay. Other than this, you can also say that Python is a simple language to do this, to maintain the simplicity. If the functionality of switch case can be achieved with the help of elif, then why we include another facility, switch case? It's a burden to the programmer or burden to the learners. We all know about how elif is to be functional. So same thing can be done with the switch case in various languages. Okay. So I already discussed how elif is executed. So I'm not going to discuss here. I'm going to discuss how to create a switch case with the help of dictionary. So there is a function. As of now, you don't know how to create a function. Just remember that it starts with the keyword def. Okay. After that, you have to write down the name of the function. And if there is a number of arguments is to be passed, then the name of the argument. After that, you have to put what? Colon to define the block of the function, because there is no such curly braces facility in Python. So here I have created a dictionary. Dict is equal to, this is a key value pair. 1 is the key and the value is good. 2 is the key, better is the value. 3 is the key, best is the value. And as you all know in another language, that is that each function should return a value. So the same thing can be done here. Return dic. Dic is an object of the dictionary class. It means dictionary class have some properties and methods. So dictionary have one method known as get. And in get, you have to supply two things. First one, the value which is to be returned. And if there is no such value, then what will be the default value. Okay. So here you can see that in this line, I have asked a number from the user. Number is given to the variable n. Now, I called a function switch and passed that value. Let us assume that value is 2. So 2 is passed and this function is to be executed. Now, here 2 is paired with what? Better. Then in n, better is transferred and whatever the value is returned, I told to the interpreter that print that value. Okay, so better is printed. So it is just like switch case. In switch, value is passed in switch like this. Switch bracket pass the value, and here there are various cases. Case colon value 1, whatever you want to do. Case 2, okay, the statement and so on, and last value is default. If nothing is matched, so what is to be done? So default statement is to be executed. The same thing happened here. All these are the cases and the default value is here. Nothing. So if I put value 4, then there is no such matching 1, 2, 3. So nothing is to be returned and it will printed over here. I'm going to show you with the created example. I have already created, so I'm going to open the program. Here you can see that the same thing written over here. So I'm going to run it. So here you can see that enter a number. Now I am going to print what? 2. It returned better. It will print better. Now again I am going to run the program once more for to check the default value. Okay. Now again my program is run successfully. Enter a number. I supplied 4. Here you can see that nothing is written. So like this, you can achieve switch case in Python because there is no such thing switch case in Python. You can achieve with the help of elif or a dictionary. So that's all for today. Today we learned about conditional statements, that is if statement, and there are various subparts in Python. I hope you enjoyed the session. In the next class, we will start looping in Python. Okay? So thank you very much.